Hi, I'm U.S. Weather Analysis Dan Fleck, just about your 10:30 a.m. on your Sunday morning. Happy Sunday to you. And on this video segment, I'm going to be giving you the 6C GFS of what it's put out so far today. And we're just going to kind of show you what's happening this weekend and into next week. A few interesting things next week that I want to catch up on. But first, the one interesting one is the snow throughout the upper Midwest. You've actually had a storm track like this for the past week. Okay, it's kind of come down just south of Nebraska and back up toward the Great Lakes. And with that, you've had these low pressures that continue to kind of clang on here and bring us pretty good snow down to this area here. And that's going to happen once again. My snowfall map is still valid for this upcoming event throughout the upper Midwest. And the 6C GFS, I'm not sure if it decided not to put out as much precip, but if you scroll through here, it's definitely not looking like it did in ways of precip than it did about a day ago. But still, given the temperature gradients, I think given snow ratios, still this area looks pretty good for that snow. Okay, other areas still about the same. So not as much as the precip in being involved, but as much as the snow ratios being involved. So still, I think that's a good call right now. Elsewhere, some thunderstorms, okay, down here as a singular system just forms and moves out. And then it kind of quiets up a little bit. We do get some cooler weather coming in throughout the northeast and mid-Atlantic here. This is pretty interesting. You have the 540 line down here, okay, for your Monday morning, okay. And then if we go down to the next loop, the 540 even goes a little more south, just a little more south. So if you're talking about frost advisories tonight, freeze watches tonight and tomorrow morning, and it gets cooler even around Wednesday, Thursday, that's definitely very unseasonable for October, or should I say early October. So that's quite interesting in my opinion. But then as we scroll through, what that's going to happen there is that 540 is going to lift up, because as we have here, a stronger storm system is going to form. Okay, and this storm system bears watching. Just in my opinion, the storm system's coming into short range in the next day or two, and this is either going to just be a very cool rain event, or this is going to bring some ice to some areas, and that's what I'm going to talk about a little bit today. But before I go in and show you what the storm and what it's going to do and where it's going to go, I just want to put out an opinion here, because I really like the storm tracks so far in this pattern that we've seen so far. We've seen storm tracks go like this, giving the upper Midwest a pretty good snow. As the northern jet comes down in wintertime, that should move down more like this. And then we've had a more of a singular cutoff E-track, and what that has done is that has formed storms, okay, from the trough up here, and they have actually formed just on the south end of that. And what these storms are doing is they're kind of coming through the southern part of the United States and then moving northeast. And this pattern here, or this track here, I have not seen in about 5 to 10 years. That's a good indication that there's an El Nino, and a pretty good one this year. Now, as for October and November, you're probably saying, what does this track really have to do to us? You know, what's it going to really mean for the people north of that? And, well, it doesn't mean much. It means that there's a possibility that some areas could see ice and snow a little earlier than usual if you can get into storm track in a perfect setup. But all in all, if you're in December, January, February, and you have a track where you have storms coming off like this, they strengthen in the Midwest, and then they dip back up north, those are the storms that you want to watch. Those are the storms that bring the heart-pounding snows that the East just loves. So that's why I really think this year could be good. And the one thing that I'm going to watch is if that track continues, okay, throughout wintertime. Because if it does, some areas are going to have a pretty fun winter. And I mean any area from here and north could have a pretty fun snow area if this storm track, okay, were to confirm into winter. Just because, well, what I've seen when I was younger, 5 to 10 years ago, I saw this track. Things came into the central to southern west, and then they came through the Midwest, and they dipped down real south, but because there was such a block north, it could only go it could only continue east, and then it moved northeast. And instead of giving the Great Lakes snow like we saw last year, where the storms continued to move up this way, they're going to move east and move up the coast. So it's almost similar to last year, but instead take the storm track to the Great Lakes and put it on the eastern seaboard, or just in that area where I have that track. But again, I don't want to go out and forecast a snow event because I think we're far from that yet. But that's just one thing that I love. I love that track. It's classical. You get so much moisture coming into a storm when you have a storm sinking so south like that. Okay? And as I show you in the next image here, you're going to see all that Gulf moisture just tapping into the storm. And if this were winter, you would have the storm continue to go out to the east and become a very big snowstorm for some. That's why I love such a southern track, because it's closer to the Gulf. You get enough moisture, and in the wintertime, you can get big storms from that. But of course, like I said, this is October, November. We're not worrying about that too much. Then as we scroll through, the storm's going to continue to move through Pennsylvania, through the east. It's going to dwindle out of here. Behind that, very cold air comes in possible. But we're in the long range, so long range tends to change a lot. But one thing that I see here is a nice ridge and a nice trough. So that tells me that there could be a pattern shaping up after this storm comes through. So we'll have to definitely look onto that to see what the models do in the medium range after that storm comes through, because that storm might be a pattern changer. So that is about a wrap for your Sunday morning model video discussion, and I will talk to you guys in a little bit. So have a nice Sunday.